Hey guys, I'm just popping on live because it takes too long to upload videos, but I just wanted to spend a little bit and talk about this COVID-19 lockdown and training and why it's so important that solo training is part of your daily activity. Because if you're like me and you live in a country where uh, this has hit pretty hard and we are on stay-at-home orders, my job, I work from home now, and maybe one day a week I go into the office, but I'm working from home. And that means that there's a lot of time just sitting around the house. And for most people, they're not really set up for that. Most people are used to going to work, leaving their home, going to work. And then when it comes to martial arts practice or any physical activities, it's what they do outside the home. And it becomes just another part of their day or their week that is separate from their home. And so when you're at home, you're you're not doing those things. Typically, you're conditioned for your home to be the area where you relax, you watch movies, spend time with your family, your friends, and just do all the things that you do for leisure. Maybe you work out at home. Some people do have some workout areas at home and stuff. But when you're forced to be at home like this for long periods, it really messes up any routine that you have. And it's really easy to fall into a slump, especially when it comes to your martial arts training. So, the dangers that come with that, and besides the obvious problem that you're not going to progress in your art, you're not going to progress in your martial art. But the other danger that can come with that is that periods of isolation can bring a lot of depression, and there's a lot of anxiety that's going on out there. We're afraid of each other. It's like, oh my God, you don't have a mask, or you're within 6 feet, or can I go to the store, or can I? And I don't care if you love watching Netflix, eventually that gets old. You're tired of browsing everything that's on the internet, and you're tired of video Skyping with or whatever you use, Messenger with people. You really just want that physical presence of somebody else, and you want to get out of your house and go do something. But your martial arts are, there's an aspect to martial arts training I think that really is important here, is that there are many things you can do solo when it comes to martial arts training, because martial arts by their very nature contain many exercises that can be done on your own, whether it's kata practice or warm-up drills or anything like that. It's the same with fitness. There's so many things you can do fitness-wise. You don't need a gym. You don't have to go anywhere. You can work out in your own home. Even if you want to go to the park by yourself, there's all kinds of things you can do there. And on the internet, there are fantastic videos out there. There's literally hundreds of videos out there on how to work out on your own at home. I even did some coaching for somebody on how to work out in their cubicle at work. There's always things you can do. And when it comes to martial arts training, it's the same thing. There's always things that you can work on. And the fortunately, at least in the martial art that my primary martial art, Bujinkan Budo Taijutsu, there are some amazing teachers that are out there that have been just graciously sharing these videos and pictures and posts on how to train on your own. The material is out there. It's not like that you just don't know what to do. There's so much that's out there. But the difference is that this right here, you don't feel like it. That's the biggest difference. Or it's not as exciting. Because here's the little ugly truth when it comes to martial arts. And I know this is controversial. Some people might get butthurt by this, but too bad. In my experience, which is going on almost 40 years, most people, when it comes to martial arts, really are just looking to be entertained. They really are. They come to class, it's social hour, it's fun, they get to see some techniques and play around with some things, and then they go home. And so those people will spend hours on the internet watching video after video, but they won't spend 5 minutes practicing anything. Or if they do, they'll spend 5 minutes practicing something and then it gets boring and then they stop because the motivation is entertainment. And this is the problem that people who are stuck at home are having because they are used to being entertained. And when it comes to martial arts, when you don't have that real physical activity involved, it just becomes a mental entertainment thing watching videos that gets old because the body is what has to be, it has to be stimulated. The body has to be working because, and I'll just use examples and my own examples that how many times I didn't feel like going to class. I didn't feel like teaching or training. And even with the gym, there are times I don't feel like going to the gym. I've never, ever, ever regretted going, but I have certainly regretted not going. But I've never regretted going. Even if I didn't feel like it, it was the last thing I wanted to do. Usually about a third of the way in, the adrenaline starts pumping, you start moving, you're doing your training or you're lifting or whatever you're doing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I feel wonderful. This is great. And then you go into beast mode. In fact, and maybe you can relate to this. There are times where the more I didn't feel like it, the more beast mode I actually got once I started doing it. And this is my point, that with all the different videos that are out there, all the different websites that have all this great knowledge being shared about how to train at home, whether it's exercises or drills or kata or whatever, that if you can get past that hurdle in your head that says, oh, I don't know, I just want to sit here and click on things. If you can get past that and just get up and just start doing something, you're going to find that you actually are inspired to want to do more. Physical activity has this really powerful way of changing everything inside you that, and I'm going to use Tony Robbins or Anthony Robbins as an example because he does this in his seminars where he talks about anxiety and talks about depression. And what he'll do is he'll have people just stand up and just start shaking their body and jumping up and down and yelling and screaming and doing all these things. And you can see people start to laugh and they start to have fun and then they feel good. And then they talk about how suddenly the tension goes away, the depression starts to diminish because your body responds to physical activity. Your body is designed to do that. And so this coronavirus lockdown, every time you click on the internet or click on TV, what's the majority of stuff that you end up seeing instantly? How many people are dying? How many people have this coronavirus? And it's horrible news. It's so horrible and depressing and sad. And if you're bombarded with that, it's no wonder that you're depressed. And when you're depressed, isolated from friends and family, it's no wonder you don't have the motivation to do anything. So, how do you change that? How do you get from being this dump of a couch potato to being fully functional and growth oriented while isolated at home? How do you get from there to there? It's not like you can just, magically make yourself be that way. There is a process, but the first step really is as simple as a decision. You have to just make this decision. So I'm going to use martial arts as an example. Let's say that you haven't really done anything in your martial art and it's been weeks, right? So the challenge or the problem that a lot of people will do is that sometimes they want to do everything. So they're in they suddenly clear the furniture out of the way in the living room and they want to just do as much as they possibly can. No, just stick with one thing. Pick one thing. Maybe you want to work on a particular kata, a particular movement form. In the Bujinkan, we have these kata, sangshinyo kata, that they're 5 kata, and they really work with training your body how to move correctly and things like that. They're not complicated on the surface. They get more complicated later as you dig deep. But in the beginning level, it's very simple. It really, at least the way I teach it, it's every one of them has 3 parts. And you isolate each of those 3 parts, you practice each one of those parts, learn the biomechanics that are involved, learn the skills that are there, develop your body to be able to perform those skills because they can be really challenging. And then connect those 3 parts together, the transition between those parts. That's a very critical area as well. So I'm not going to go into my class and my training, but you get the idea. So if you just took one of those parts, and let's just say, I'm going to use the example of, let's just say I'm going to work on being able to block. There's a lot of things involved in that motion. It has to do with being able to move your body and move your arm, finding the synchronization that goes with that, but also, at least the way that I teach it, there's also breathing that's involved. There's a structural alignment and balance, and things like that. And so you practice doing these things very slowly. And if you just did that, and let's say you actually scheduled it, serious, you actually scheduled it, write it on the dry erase board if you have one at home, or put a big sticky note somewhere or whatever. Between this time and this time is my martial arts training, and identify what exactly you're going to work on in that time, and really focus on that. Eliminate everything else around you. Like this is my office right here. It's a part of my house that I have as an office because I know that I can't get work done out there. It's just not going to happen. I tried. It's too many distractions. So I have an office, and that really helps for me. So, and I also have another room that I train in, and that really helps. Find a spot where you can do that. Maybe you do have to go down to a park by yourself for a while, or if you do happen to have a part of your house, it could be a garage, backyard, somewhere. You don't need a lot of space unless you're swinging around big 6-foot weapons, but find some space where it's distraction free that you can just focus, and turn the damn phone off or put it away or leave it in the other room, and just devote yourself 15-20 minutes. It doesn't have to be a big investment, and have a plan beforehand of what you want to work on. Study up for it beforehand so you're not doing it during your training time. Because here's the other little challenge. I'm a writer. I write all kinds of things. I love writing. I have books and stuff that I write, and different articles and stuff. And so I have to do a lot of research for my writing. And what I will do is I will set aside time for the research separate from the writing, because I know me, and you can probably again relate to this, right? You will hop on Google and you will look up something, and then half an hour later you're on something else. Like I could be looking up, I need to know about a particular, I don't know, I'm going to throw something out there. Let's just say, I'm writing a book, and I need to learn about Boulder, Colorado, because there's a character that I want to have in that, or something related to that. So I look up Boulder, Colorado, and I start doing that. Half an hour later, I'm watching funny cat videos. I mean, really. And so in martial arts training, the same thing will happen. If you're researching how to do a specific kata or technique or whatever, and you're on YouTube, it's so easy to start clicking on that other stuff that's there. Or if you're busy, maybe you're writing notes, whatever, and the next video starts, and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, what's that? And again, a half an hour later, you're watching something totally different, or maybe you're really interested in learning how to finesse your punch, right? So you're looking up video on, we call it ski, but whatever. You look it up how to do this particular punch. You got in your head that you're going to spend 15-20 minutes practicing this punch. The next training cycle, or the next training time slot that you have for yourself, let's say it's in the same day, let's say 2 o'clock, right? Okay, from 2 to 2:30, I'm going to work on how to do this punch. And let's say it's 1 o'clock, and I want to look up how to do this punch, and I'm looking at these videos on how to do this punch. And so as I'm doing this, I write down my notes and everything else, and suddenly I see this how to do a kick. And then I think, oh, I want to do that. That looks really cool. And next thing you know, I'm learning that. And then as I'm learning the kick, suddenly I see something about a sword or a draw or whatever. Or, I mean, this is the problem. You have to really stay focused. And that's what I talk about. It's this mental game, because your mental sharpness is so critical in this process, because just as much as you need mental focus in your training, you also need mental focus in your research. Because if you let yourself bounce around from topic to topic to topic, you're going to really limit your understanding, and it's really going to affect your training time when it finally gets down to actually training. And I think this is why a lot of people struggle with really having a plan on what to do. They want to train. They know they want to train. They just don't know what they want to train on, and they see all these different things, and they never really make a decision. And then another day goes by, or and then they're watching cat videos or something. But you have to really schedule this. You have to schedule your research time, get your notes together, and have your scheduled training time that you can then take that information and invest a good 15, 20, 30 minutes. I mean, if you can go an hour, that's cool. But when you're training by yourself, it's amazing how much you can really just work within 15, 20 minutes. My opinion, really, I like to think of it like a gym, going to the gym. There are some guys who will spend all day at the gym. I can't do that. Usually for me, I'm a get in, get it done, get out kind of guy. I like to go to the gym already in my head, knowing exactly what I want to do, what machines I want to use, what reps I'm going for. And I already know when I step foot in that gym, I'm on a mission. I'm not going to walk in, look around, see people I know, hey, whatever, and take selfies of myself and all this stupid stuff you see people do. I'm going straight to the free weights, the bench. And then I know exactly what I'm doing. I can be in and out of the gym in 30 minutes. I've done it sometimes as short as 20 minutes and been completely wiped out physically, mentally, just drained, because I believe in high intensity interval training as far as my training goes. So no respite, like you just want next. But when it comes to martial arts training, it actually is a little bit different. If you're doing conditioning drills, yes, high intensity interval training is really good. But when you're learning technique, slow it down. You have to do it slowly. You have to really focus on those parts, those little things. And that becomes, again, a play on your mental focus, because it's easy to stay focused when your adrenaline is running and you have a goal and you're trying to achieve that goal. Like, I'm going to lift 250 pounds and I'm just doing it. But when you're really trying to perfect kata, for instance, that you're doing it slowly and you're practicing it over and over, it becomes even more mentally straining, because you're trying to still stay focused on perfecting that movement and learning that movement. And the brain, the creative side of the brain, starts trying to attack the logical side of the brain, because the logic side of the brain is saying structure, focus, discipline, stay, patterns, 1, 2, 3, 4. Your creative side of the brain is saying, oh, come on, let's go, let's boom, let's do this and this and this, or let's watch funny cat videos or whatever. Your creative side of the brain can't handle that. So there's this battle between the two sides of your brain that goes on here. And if you really want to sharpen the sword of your technique, you have to be able to shut off that creative side and really let the logical side, the structure side of your brain take over and direct what you're doing to stay laser focused on what it is you're trying to achieve. And you have to be able to know the answer to that question, what it is you're trying to achieve. What is your goal for that 15, 20, 30 minutes of training? What is your end product? What are you trying to do? And if you can answer that, then you need to stay connected to that. If you go into training in your training period, you can't really answer that, Um, I mean, you can get something out of it, but most of the time it's usually just a mental thing. You're usually just playing around with something. You're tinkering, right? That's like martial tinkering instead of martial artist. Because to be a real artist, artists don't just walk up to a canvas and suddenly throw up a painting. I mean, they have a lifetime of development, of training, of practice. They everything that they have done to invest in themselves and their knowledge and their skills is expressed onto this canvas. So if you're going to be a martial artist, you have to do the same thing. You have to spend countless hours working your craft, working your art, honing your skills. And if you let your own mental laziness or creative, unstructured thought processes take you all these different directions, you're no different than a little kid with a crayon on a piece of paper that just goes and then throws it out, gets the next piece of paper and goes and does another one. You're not really developing. So right now, with this downtime, if you're one of the people that has this downtime right now, and I really hope you're not unemployed. If you're unemployed and struggling for every dime you can make, man, my heart goes out to you because that's some stress right there. And I'm not trying to minimize any challenges people are going through, and I'm certainly not minimizing any depression or anxiety. Because I mean, I'll be very transparent and honest with you. I battle with anxiety. I've battled with depression. I know what those things are like. Um, Fortunately, I've done the work on myself to know how to self-soothe myself when anxiety hits. But man, I get it. I mean, really, I do. I understand. But that's again where martial arts training really has these other side benefits because yeah, you can perfect your martial arts, but practically speaking, just the idea that you're focusing on something else other than death tolls and how many people have coronavirus and how many parks are getting shut down and who's employed, not employed, and how am I going to pay next week's rent? And you're able to focus on something else. This is a mental discipline. You're able to take all of this and just kind of set it aside and just focus on something in your training. And that has so much benefit to you that if you can really work on this, and I mean daily, I don't mean wait until you have nothing else going on Saturday or something. Book it, schedule it like a therapy appointment. Just schedule it for yourself. And right now, intensity matters. I don't mean intensity like, I mean intensity like how often you're doing this. Because you are bombarded with so much negativity right now, and your martial art training has all of these great things in it right now that you could do. Right now, if you're watching this video, right, you're watching this video right now at this very moment, you are choosing to watch this video instead of doing something else. So you have power here. I know that uncertainty is the cornerstone to anxiety. And right now we live in a lot of uncertainty, so much uncertainty. And that creates a real problem in people because we are used to patterns. We live our life in patterns, even martial arts training, right? Most people go to a class the same night in the week. You know, we're used to that pattern. And now we don't even know what next week might look like. We don't know if we're going to be in this COVID-19 virus thing for the next 6 months. There's so much that we don't know, and that can overtake us very easily. And you have to look at martial arts training and where it came from, because martial arts themselves came from times of war. And if you want to talk about uncertainty, now, my martial art comes from historical Japanese feudal period, warring period, samurai period history, where there were constant wars going on all the time. People killed each other all the time. They would murder, kidnap, and do these horrific things. We have parts of the world that are like that today. But when you have a whole country that's like that, like I live in the United States, imagine if every state was fighting each other to be the king of the country, right? And in history, countries have been that way. It's happened in England and throughout Europe and stuff like that, where you have factions that fight each other for dominance. So martial arts came from all of that. And martial arts weren't created because people were living peaceful, happy lives. Martial arts came as a solution to dying. So you're in this crazy time right now with this COVID-19, and I'm not minimizing it. There is a serious health risk here. People are dying, people are getting sick, and so I get it, but and we don't have an actual enemy that we can see. It's not like there's this enemy force that's attacking the country that we can just go fight. This is something where we don't know if our neighbor has it, and so that makes us scared of each other. And so this uncertainty is, even though it's unique in the nature of what's causing it, but that anxiety from the uncertainty certainly is not new to the human condition. And martial arts themselves contain many, many different things that we can use to cope with that. You don't need alcohol. You don't need drugs. You don't need all this other toxic garbage and cheap entertainment and all this other stuff. You need to move. You need to have your brain study something and learn something, create new neural pathways in your head, create new learning opportunities in yourself, invest in you, because that's what's going to keep you from losing your mind in all of this. Every time you invest in yourself, you get a payback. When you're watching stupid movies on TV or engaging in alcohol and drugs or whatever to self-medicate because you want some sort of temporary high or some sort of distraction, if it doesn't have any growth value to you, then it's just short-lived, and you're still going to be in that same place when you're done feeling good about it. Where in training, whether it's martial arts or even just physical training, whatever, exercise, you're going to feel good first. You will. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel good about yourself, because especially if you set a goal that you're going to work on this and you do it, you're going to feel good. Remember what I said? I never regretted going, but I certainly regretted not going. So you're going to feel good about that. And that's gonna put you in a better place mentally, spiritually, but also physically, because this is a virus, and people that get it can get sick and you can die, or if you don't die, then you're in this horrible physical place. But the people that recover from it, the majority of those people are healthy by nature. And at the same time, keep in mind that the majority of people right now are moving less because they're confined to their homes. And so, and also, at least a lot of the people that I talk to, they're not eating healthy foods at home. They're ordering takeout, they're eating bags of chips, they're snacking all day, and then they're not moving as much. So if you, again, devote yourself every day to, you can do that every day. You're going to feel good about yourself, and you're going to be having a sense of accomplishment, but also you're going to be boosting your immune system and your health at a time when you really need that. You need the mental health, you need the emotional health, the spiritual health, and the physical health. You need that more than ever right now, because This will overtake you if you let it. The depression, the anxiety, the self-medicating, all of that will overtake you if you allow it. And martial arts training is there to help you. It has everything you need. It really does. It has everything you need to keep you moving, keep you active, keep your mind sharp, and give you a sense of control at a time when we really feel like we don't have control. So I encourage you to not just sit and watch these videos, but to actually come up with a plan, come up with a goal. And if you don't train in martial arts, or let's say you're brand new, or maybe you've only had a little bit of martial arts training, or whatever, you're not a regular training student, you don't really have a teacher, you're just whatever, it's okay. Find something basic that you can do and just make a plan, set aside that time slot, and just do it. Because ultimately, it's not about trying to achieve a black belt or a license or whatever. We're in a time of war. We really are. This is a time of war. The enemy is this virus, and how it affects people and human behavior is completely unpredictable. We've already seen it with toilet paper shortage. I mean, come on, really? People stocking up on toilet paper. And now I hear that hair products are like hair coloring and stuff like that. People go cuckoo in times of stress. They really do. And there are examples after examples after examples of really extreme things happening between people. When your basic needs are threatened, or at least you believe your basic needs are threatened, the human psychology opens the door on behavior and allows for all kinds of behavior that you would not have done otherwise. We have seen this in other countries, and I'm not going to go into history lessons, but there are countries where when food supplies are running short, power gets turned off, things like that, how people will turn on each other, how society will collapse quick. And I'm not trying to be this, add negativity into this video, but what caused that? It's it's people losing this. So training keeps your mind sharp and connects you to something that is reachable, something that you actually can have control over. You can choose to spend 30 minutes of your day doing something that's going to make you feel good, build a skill set in yourself, up your immunities and your health. And that's what, in my opinion, is going to keep you from losing your mind. Because in those situations when people have attacked each other, I bet you that pre-coronavirus, they probably were the nicest, friendliest, outgoing, caring people who hold the door open for you, all of that. But people change. Stress, anxiety, fear, all of those things make people fight or flight, right? And it's easy to go into fight when they feel threatened. So if you're the one if you've been watching all these videos, I put out some videos and stuff too, and I encourage you to go and check those things out. But if you're one of those that has been watching these videos, watching these workout videos, and you just think, but then you end up not doing it, another day goes by, start now. Just start right now. I don't care if you just stop this right here and just start doing something. But I encourage you to make a commitment to yourself. Put yourself first in this and say, I am going to start a basic program for myself. I'm going to do it every day between this time and this time, where nobody is going to reach me. I'm not going to look at anything else. And I'm going to research right now what it is I want to do and how to do it, so that when that time comes, that's the only thing I want to focus on. Do that for yourself. Make that choice right now for yourself. Love yourself enough to do it, because you are going to thank yourself for that. And here's the other little point that I want to make about all of this. You do have to put yourself first. It's not selfish to put yourself first, because if you don't take care of you, how in the hell are you going to take care of anybody else? So if you're letting your own health decline, your own mental health, emotional health, spiritual, physical health, if you're letting all of that decline, how are you, number one, setting your example for others? Maybe you have kids, maybe you have other family, friends that you see you. How are you setting the example for them? But number two, if you end up getting sick or any other manner of ailment that comes from all of it, which could be a heart attack or a stroke, or maybe you end up overweight or who knows what, and all the health problems that come with that. And I'm not even just talking about COVID-19, I'm just regular health issues that come from that. If that's what happens to you, how are you going to be able to take care of anybody else? So you have to take care of you first. So devote yourself to investing that 15, 20, 30 minutes. Go for the 30 minutes. Forget the 15 and 20. You have more time than that. You know you do. I know you do. We all have more time because we're not driving to work, most of us. We're not going out partying. We're not doing whatever. You have the time. So choose to use that time as an investment in yourself, and do it right. Have a plan and then execute that plan, but do it every day, consistently, every day. And don't let this negative crap wear you down. Turn stuff off if you want to. I stopped watching the news. I'll catch headlines here and there, but then I turn it off because there's no point in it and it just brings me down. So take control of yourself and stop being a couch potato watching martial arts videos and actually start practicing martial arts. Just do it. You can do it. I have faith in you. There's no reason why you can't. The only reason why you can't do it is the reason you tell yourself. And it's all BS anyway. So just make it happen. You can do it. And if this video inspired you and you actually did it, let me know. In fact, if this video inspired you and you decide I'm going to commit to it, drop a comment and tell me that. Just say, hey, Darren, I love your video. I'm so pumped up. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm putting it in writing because I'm going to commit to it every day. And then I want you to comment on that a week later and tell me, and then 2 weeks later and 3 weeks later, and tell me how your progress is. Even if you slip back and stop, when a week, 2 weeks go by, just come back and just be honest and say, all right, I got hung up getting caught up on whatever shows on Netflix or whatever, or I just didn't feel like it, or whatever. Be honest with it, because even there's something about the confession part of it, of saying, I didn't, that also reignites you, because it's like the walk of shame, right? So we're all in this together, and I'm here to support you. And so, I'm not just making this video because I'm trying to attract attention to myself. I mean, really. So I'm trying to just add some positivity in a really messy time right now. So if you find that this helped you, please let me know. And whatever happens going forward, just know that you always have control over you and what you choose to do. That's the one thing you always have control over, is your response. You may not always have choices over what happens around you. And if you're sick, sometimes you don't have control over that either. But you always have control over your choices. Whatever your options are that are in front of you, you're the one that makes that choice. Nobody else makes it for you. So you're the only one. And I'm challenging you. To step up, be this great warrior that so many people like to claim to be, and and charge out, lead from the front, get out there and go and make it happen. And don't look back and don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about anything else. You just focus on you and what's important to you, which is your health and your sanity and your emotional balance. And just quit lying to yourself and quit coming up with all this BS excuses for yourself. It's all garbage. Stop. Just start taking charge. Now you can do it. There's no reason why you can't. You can do it. So you just have to do it. All right. So enough of that. Thanks for watching. Again, I hope this inspired you. I hope this helped you. Let me know. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to continue to produce content. And so I want you to be able to stay up to date with anything. Not just subscribe, but click that there's a little bell thing down here that you click on that, and that will buzz you or notify you whenever I put out new content. Go back and take a look at the other videos that I got on there too. There's all kinds of cool stuff that I've been starting to put out now that if you train them in the martial art that I train in, then it's very helpful. If you don't train in the martial art I train in, maybe you'll find some application to what it is you are doing. But even if you don't train in any martial arts, just start moving. Just do something with your body. Do something. Don't just sit. And you will thank yourself for that moving. So anyway, thank you again, and stay happy, stay healthy. Don't lose your mind through this, and just keep investing in yourself, and we will all get through this. I promise. It's going to get better. It will get better. So again, thank you very much, and keep training.